Captain America Brave New World is a great film. I mean, it has many storylines that can appeal to any member of the audience. Storylines like, can a father be forgiven by his daughter who feels betrayed by his involvement of tearing her and her boyfriend, aka Bruce Banner the Hulk, apart? And storylines like, can Sam Wilson, the latest iteration of Captain America, be able to clear his friends' names for crimes that he didn't knowingly commit? And another storyline like, can a vengeful lab rat, so to speak, get his revenge on the government responsible for using him for their experiments? And the list of storylines in the film don't end there, but those are just a few to explain why this film is such a great film. And at the same time, it's not only that all the film has all of these storylines running through it that makes it great. What makes it great is that it is a fine example of how bad a film can be because of its first act. Captain America Brave New World should absolutely be considered a great film, especially for writers who want to see firsthand how bad a story can be when it's not focused. I mean, the list of storylines that's thrown into the first act um, just makes it overcrowded, convoluted, and confusing. I mean, from there, it just goes into a second act that's pretty much the equivalent of, channel surfing back in the day, because there was nothing to actually watch on TV. So the film just becomes this exhausting experience in a movie theater, and this overcrowding of storylines in the first act of the film results in this consequence of this overcrowded of storylines in the first act of Captain America Brave New World. The stories get chopped into bits, which basically is the equivalent of just, putting each storyline into three parts. One, introduction. Two, a reminder of the storyline. And then three, a sudden payoff. I mean, the most apparent example is the storyline of General Ross and his daughter Betty. Will he be forgiven by his daughter? Will they reunite? I mean, that's how the film starts, with General Ross trying to call his daughter, but it doesn't pick up the phone to answer him. I mean, that's the beginning of the film. And then in the second act, it's reminded again, I'll call her again, give it a second try. Oh, okay. And then, reminiscent of Indiana Jones' Dial of Destiny, she suddenly appears at the end of the film to visit him. And I won't say where she ends up visiting him, but it's really not the kind of story that has that kind of, ticking time bomb of anticipation. And wow, they could have really used that as an integral part to the climax of the film, which kind of they did by just mentioning her name. And wow, that it was just, face palm worthy of a writing decision of how. Yeah, it was really, really comedy at that point. And so yeah, I mean the rest of the storylines get that kind of processing, introduction, reminder, and then sudden payoff. It's really sad the state of the MCU. A lot of the films are like that now. But I guess in terms of the craft of writing, this whole idea of overcrowding a first act with so many storylines does illustrate a really important thing about writing and storytelling, is that the first act should be focused on establishing a formidable antagonist for the protagonist to really, you know, not just challenge him, but challenge himself, towards a resolution at the end of the film. I mean, the protagonist, the leader, the lab rat, so to speak, who's bent on revenge against Harrison Ford's character, General Ross, for using him as a lab rat, so to speak. Basically, he's just this walking calculator, spewing calculations, statistics, probabilities, and it's kind of the equivalent of an internet troll who, talks tough, behind screens, and then when actually coming face to face with another person, does absolutely nothing. I mean, that is not a worthy protagonist to, build suspense and worry for our hero. And that then brings us to another problem of, overcrowding the first act with so many storylines. The the hero of the film, Sam Wilson, is so criminally underwritten that he doesn't really have much of an arc in the film at all. And I think they really don't understand the fundamental character of Captain America, and that's Steve Rogers. I mean, Steve Rogers was chosen to be Captain America because the scientist in the Captain America origin found that if he had given the super soldier serum to a fundamentally bad person, they would they would just become monstrous, and that's what happened to the Red Skull. So the scientists needed to make sure that the next person he would give the super soldier serum to was fundamentally a good, kind human being, and that the serum would just augment those qualities. I think that's not to suggest that Sam Wilson is not a fundamentally good person, but I think that shows a potential arc of him doubting himself more than other people doubting him as a new Captain America. But Sam Wilson doubting himself through some kind of mistake that he committed in the past, and the reason why the true reason why he didn't want to take the super soldier serum was that he would be afraid of the serum taking that bad element of whatever he did in the past and create him into someone like the Red Skull. I mean, there's so much potential there for a really interesting, multi-layered story. But nope, it's just, it's all about carrying the shield and wearing the costume. Personally, I think what would have made a much better film was if they had focused on actually the adamantium that the General Ross was trying to bring the world together to form some kind of arrangement that everyone would agree the United States would be in control of the adamantium, so that you know, malevolent forces wouldn't be able to use it. I think that focusing the first act on the complexity of gaining control and how to use this new resource from the Eternals movie, adamantium, which is supposed to be stronger than vibranium, which, in the comics, that, yeah, adamantium is the uh, strongest metal in the Marvel universe. They should have focused it on that, the adamantium, and how governments or secret organizations are all vying to get hold of this new resource, and how it brings out the best in the characters, brings out the worst in the characters, transform characters. I think that would have been a really good place to let things, organically evolve from. The same way like other action adventure films, all the characters involved trying to get hold of, money or gold or nuclear weapons or what have you, oil, like in the Mad Max series. And, that's the kind of thing that really brings, multiple stories together when you have that one main storyline that everyone has some kind of interest in. That's my idea. But if you've seen Captain America Brave New World and had similar opinions about the film like I've expressed in this video, please comment below. It'd be great to hear what other people think of how they would have written a better film than what was presented on the screen, not just in Japan but around the world. And which apparently here, the second week, really huge drop off. Not many people are watching it. But let's not let it get us writers down. A film like this is a great resource to really understand how to write better, tell stories better. So yeah, thanks for making it this far into the video. I look forward to hearing your ideas about how to create a better first act. In the meantime, good luck with everything, and I look forward to offering you some more of what's happening in Japan, story ideas, writing ideas, what have you. Thanks for visiting the Right Table, and catch you in the next one.